So we are now live on YouTube, Madam Mayor, so you can proceed.
Well, thank you. First of all, I'd like to say a happier and healthier new year to you all next year in 2020, well, this year in 2021. Welcome to members and the public. We are here to reconvene the meetings of the Council acting as firstly the trustee of the Ewart Bequest and secondly as the trustee of the Shottermill Trust. These meetings were opened on Tuesday, the 15th of December, and then immediately adjourned due to the lateness of the hour. Members are supported this evening by the Chief Executive, Tom Horwood, Strategic Director, Annie Knighton, Strategic Director, Graham Clark, the Head of Policy and Governance, Robin Taylor, the Head of Finance and Property, Peter Vickers, the Borough Solicitor, Daniel Bainbridge, and the Democratic Services Manager, Fiona Cameron. Members, please use the hand raise feature in Zoom to indicate that you wish to speak. If you lose your connection, please rejoin as quickly as possible. And if anyone feels it would help their internet connection to shut off the video, then please do so. If the live stream to YouTube fails, we will pause proceedings and enable that to be re-established. Before we move to the next item, for practical reasons, I am waiving Council Rule 21.1, the requirement for members to stand to speak. I will now proceed with the agenda for the meeting of the Council as a trustee of the Ewart Bequest. Firstly, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We've received apologies from Councillors Brian Edmonds, Kevin Denis, Chris Howard, Michaela Martin, Trevor Sadler and Kika Miralese.
Thank you. The minutes of the meetings held on the 22nd of October 2019. Members, does anyone have an issue with the accuracy of the minutes of the meetings held on the 22nd of October 2019? Right, if no one has objections, would you please unmute your microphones and indicate your agreement with the minutes?
Agreed.
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 Thank you. I will sign these later. Have there been any declarations of interest for this meeting?
None received, Madam Mayor.
Any declarations by members? No, none received. We've moved straight to the report on the financial statements for the year ended the 31st of March 2020. Councillor Merriweather, would you like to introduce the report and move the recommendation to approve the annual financial report and accounts for the year ending the 31st of March 2020?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I refer everybody to the report, agenda item 4 on page 7. The purpose of this meeting is for the Council to act as sole trustee of the Ewart Bequest Trust and approve the annual report and accounts for the year ended 31 March 2020. This trust owns a number of houses in the Farnham area, which are held principally for elderly people with limited financial resources. The trust operates these through Waverley's housing management team. In December 2011, the trust approved a delegation to the executive acting as trustee to make all decisions on behalf of the full trustee board. The only exception is the approval of the annual report and financial statements, because it's a requirement of the Charity Commission that this is approved by the Council acting as trustee. The accounts have been prepared in accordance with the Charities Code of Practice and have been externally examined by Rose Swain, and their report is attached to the papers. The reserves level is healthy, and as the report states, much of this is earmarked for further development, which has been approved by the Trust and the Council. I've no specific matters to report to the Board of Trustees. So I recommend that the Board approve the annual report and accounts for the year ended 31 March 2020. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Is that seconded? Yes?
Yes, I'll second
Okay.
it, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any speakers? No, none. I'm to ask you if you approve the report and accounts for the year ending the 31st of March 2020. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
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 Right, thank you. There are no further items to consider. This meeting is now closed and we will move on to the meeting of the council as trustee of the Shottermill Trust. So firstly, apologies for absence. Robin, are there any apologies?
As noted in the previous meeting, Madam Mayor.
Right, thank you. The minutes of the meeting held on the 22nd of October 2019. Members, does anyone have an issue with the accuracy of the minutes? Members, will you unmute your microphones and indicate your agreement to the minutes?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah, thank you. I will sign these later. Declaration of interest.
None received in advance, Madam Mayor.
Yeah. And none by members either? No? Right, so we move on to the report and financial statement for the year ended the 31st of March. Councillor Merriweather, would you like to move the report, introduce the report and move the recommendation?
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. So this is the report at agenda item 4, page 5 of your packs. So the purpose of this meeting is for the council to act as sole trustee for the Shottermill Recreation Ground Trust and approve the annual report and accounts for the year ended 31 March 2020. This trust owns Hazelmere Leisure Centre and operates it through Waverley's overall management contract with Places Leisure. In December 2011, the trust approved a delegation to the executive, acting as trustee, to make all decisions on behalf of the full trustee board. The only exception is the approval of the annual report and financial statements, because it's a requirement of the Charity Commission that this is approved by the council acting as trustee. The accounts have been prepared in accordance with the Charities Code of Practice and have been externally examined by Rove Swain, and their report is attached to the papers. The reserves level is healthy, and I've no specific matters to report to the Board of Trustees. So I recommend that the board approve the annual report and accounts for the year ended 31 March 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Merriweather. Are there any speakers? Yes. Councillor Rubini.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just one. I have got an answer from Daniel Mainbridge, but I'd like to ask the question for the record. That a planning application TC 2020-0009 for GPDO aerial, i.e. that is permitted development, came in over Christmas to be erected near to the leisure centre. My question is, of course, that if the trust owns this land, then I assume we will either have to give permission or indeed claim rent or whatever we have to do on that aerial. At the moment, Hazelmere Town Council have objected to that application, but we are told that under the GPDO, then it is very difficult to object to a placement of it. However, it's not a question to be answered tonight, but perhaps I could ask Daniel Bainbridge to give me an answer for the record. Thank you.
Thank you to Councillor Rubini. Any other speakers? No. Then I ask you to approve the report and accounts for the year ending the 31st of March 2020. Is that agreed? Could you unmute your microphone?
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed. Sorry.
Right. That's a nice. That's nice. There are no further items to
Point
consider.
of order, Madam Mayor. Would it be
Okay.
possible for Daniel Bainbridge to respond to Councillor Rubini's question before we close the meeting? My apologies.
Ah.
Madam Mayor, I'm happy to.
Oh, okay, Councillor Daniel, would you like to reply to?
Yeah, certainly.
Councillor Rabini?
I said to Councillor Rabini before the meeting that we can look at the land in question. I haven't had the chance to look at the application and the plan attached to it and where the land is exactly, but we can look at that over the next couple of days to try and find out where it is and whether it's on the trust land. And obviously, if it were on the trust land, then we would probably come back to this meeting to see whether you wanted to object, obviously, to any access to the trust land for the works. The planning permission obviously will be dealt with by the planning authority quite separately to this meeting. That's all. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Daniel. Now there are no further items to consider, and this meeting is now closed.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.